With the just over 1 minute teaser trailer recently released for the upcoming star-studded black comedy Don't Look Up, anticipation is sky high for the movie, which could be a major player at the Academy Awards.
And my gut tells me it's simply marvelous.
But what's the movie about? Who's in it? And when will we be seeing it on our screens? All good questions, and that's why we decided to answer them in this video as we take an extensive look into the upcoming movie. Let's go! Let's start off with the cast and crew, shall we? Writing and directing the movie will be Adam Mckay, who has an extensive list of hits under his belt, helming cult classic comedies such as Anchorman, Step Brothers, and The Other Guys, as well as star-studded satirical pieces such as The Big Short and Vice. Don't Look Up seems to be following the same trajectory of both The Big Short and Vice, with the movie being labeled as a sci-fi black comedy. Also, like The Big Short and Vice, the movie has an absolutely massive cast, and is another example of Timothee Chalamet being in a monster ensemble. Like, seriously, Dune, The French Dispatch, and Don't Look Up all in 1 year? Does that guy have a horseshoe up his ass or something? Leonardo DiCaprio, who will be playing Dr. Randall Mindy, and Jennifer Lawrence, who will be playing Kate DiBiase, are going to be the two lead characters, but the rest of the cast is truly stacked. With Timothee Chalamet, Jonah Hill, Cate Blanchett, Chris Evans, Ariana Grande, Mark Rylance, Gina Gershon, Ron Perlman, Matthew Perry, Tyler Perry, Melanie Linsky, Michael Chiklis, Kid Cudi, Hamish Patel, and the one and only Meryl Streep as the president, rounding out the rest of the cast. So yeah, that's a pretty big cast. It's also Jennifer Lawrence's first role since she took a mini break, and that is in part down to the fact that Mckay wrote the part specifically for her, and it will be great to see her back on the big screen once again. DiCaprio took a little longer to convince, with Leo and Mckay going over the script for 4 to 5 months, tweaking it here and there, and then making a few changes, before Leo decided to sign on. While Meryl Streep will be playing President Janie Orlean, Jonah Hill will be playing her disinterested son and Chief of Staff Jason Orlean. Judging by the trailer, set photos, and their listed titles, we can also assume that Perlman will be playing astronaut Colonel Ben Drask, while Michael Chiklis looks to be a TV host, Ariana Grande and Kid Cudi seem to be in a relationship, and Tyler Perry and an almost unrecognizable Cate Blanchett seem to be news anchors on a program called The Daily Rip. Other than that though, we don't know a whole bunch about the characters, but given that this is an Adam Mckay movie, they will all probably have their eccentricities, and we can only hold out hope for another brilliant cameo by Margot Robbie. Moving on to the plot now, as we mentioned, the film will follow DiCaprio and Lawrence's characters, Dr. Randall Mindy and Kate DiBiase, a pair of low-level astronomers who learn that a comet is hurtling towards the Earth and could cause mass destruction. The two go on a media tour to warn the general populace of the impending decimation of the planet, but their warnings seemingly fall on deaf ears, with no one heeding their warning, including the President of the United States and her son. Despite the apocalyptic subject matter, the movie will not be taking itself too seriously and will be much closer to Mckay's other work than the likes of, say, Armageddon. With the movie set to be a satire, it will more than likely use the opportunity to poke fun at the current social and political climate, and likely make a few jokes at politicians and the media's expense. We don't know a whole lot more about the movie, but judging by the trailer, DiCaprio's character seems to struggle with anxiety, while Lawrence's character seems to like her drink, which could play an impact in the plot and be a part of the reason why people don't take them seriously. Especially as Hill's Jason seems more concerned by Mindy's breathing more than anything, but then again, his character just seems to be a douchebag. However, judging by some of the shots in the trailer, it does seem that action is eventually taken with Perlman and a number of other astronauts heading towards the comet, suggesting that they will be at least attempting to destroy it, but that's just guesswork at this point. So when can we expect to see the movie? Soon. Principal photography was set to start in April 2020, but was ultimately pushed back due to COVID-19. It started for real in November 2020, with filming predominantly taking place in Boston, which stood in for New York. Because, you know, it costs a fortune to film in New York, before wrapping in February 2021. Filming was apparently delayed briefly due to Jennifer Lawrence picking up a minor injury on set when a controlled glass explosion went awry. But now the movie's in the post-production stage and is setting itself up to be a major player in the awards season. The movie will have a limited theatrical release, with it heading for the big screen on December 10th this year, before the Netflix original heads to the streaming platform 2 weeks later on Christmas Eve. Because there's nothing more festive than a black comedy on the impending apocalypse, right? With its winter release date, we expect it to be a major player at the Academy Awards, and if it's as good as we're led to believe, it could find itself in contention for a number of Oscars, likely in the writing and acting field. Don't Look Up might not even be out yet, but Jennifer Lawrence and Adam Mckay will be teaming up again once more for the recently announced movie Bad Blood, which follows entrepreneur Elizabeth Holmes, played by Lawrence, who creates a biotech company that skyrockets her to fame until the government begins to investigate.